Welcome, everyone. We're excited to talk to you about Regenerosity, which is an initiative of the Buckminster Fuller Institute, Lush Spring Prize, and the UNDP Equator Prize. And together we have birthed Regenerosity in order to build capacity for projects. We have over 15 years of due diligence experience and over 430 projects that we've worked with, and have invested over $20 million in vetting and funding these projects. And we work to identify, resource, celebrate, and learn from nature-inspired regenerative projects that have the potential to be a hub. Our mission is to accelerate the transition to a regenerative world by flowing resources, enabling learning, sharing stories. And this is all in partnership with our funders and grassroots initiatives that have the exponential impact on climate, food sovereignty, water security, and livelihoods. The program sprang out of the question of how might we shift trillions of dollars from the current broken system to the next paradigm, working to decolonize philanthropy and development, and moving away from the entropic, competitive, degenerative, an overly simplistic way of being towards a syntropic, cooperative, regenerative, living systems understanding of regeneration. Our goal is to capitalize and catalyze over $10 billion over the next 10 years by 2030. And that's through movement building in a way that works to decolonize wealth. And we do this through developing partnerships with you all and with funders and with project partners.
So part of our theory of change is about working across different scales. So our theory of change is based on this idea of nested wholes. Just like in ecosystems, ecosystems are not separate from one another. They're always part of something bigger with smaller ecosystems inside and part of bigger ripples of nested wholes. So our theory of change is based on place-based impact, which is how and where we co-design these catalytic programs with our grassroots partners and organizations based on long-term relationships of trust. And our aim is to flow capitals to these fantastic projects, our partners, to grow their great impact. And to do this, we have a re-granting program where we give catalytic funds to projects in East Africa, India, and the Amazon. So we co-design what these grants look like with our project partners based on a participatory methodology. It's called the Regenerative Capacity Development Framework, the RCD framework, we call it. And this is based on dialogue and based on deep listening. And we have a participatory learning and monitoring and evaluation approach. And this process, it's actually based around storytelling. So how can we tell the story of our partners and build a story of regeneration? We work very, very deeply with our partners to help develop these stories through spaces like peer-to-peer learning circles and through network collaboration. And we bring people together through regional communities. So I mentioned in East Africa, in India, and the Amazon, and looking in future to grow this network as well. So our projects learn from one another through peer-to-peer knowledge sharing, through storytelling, through strategic development together. And we meet our partners on a monthly basis to share stories. And then when we look at this wide scale of movement building, what we're hoping to do is to spotlight the evidence and the grassroots-led stories that will help to spur off the bigger movement of regeneration more broadly. We see this impacting projects in their communities, hopefully in a very systemic level, in a systemic way, from national to global, from regional and more widely. So one example of cascading benefits, so what we hope to do is to create benefits that ripple across the world and ripple across the places where people work. And you can see here an example of how this could look. how just by investing in empowering refugees, this can increase income, which could increase health, which could increase the access to more nutrient-dense food, which could increase the training and access to training for regenerative agriculture, which in itself could help to draw down carbon, to increase the health in the soil, to increase climate resilience, to increase the retention of water in the soil and biodiversity. So just by these catalytic partnerships, we can create massive rippling impacts. And we've seen this with our partners across the place-based, across the network, and also across the movement. Just by these activities that you see here, for example, funding a fantastic group of agroecological or regenerative agriculture projects, by partnering with them, we've seen an increase in nutrition and an increase in health, in livelihoods, in ecosystem health, and a connection to over 11,000 people. So how can we create these massive impacts that reach many people while also building ecological health?
Yeah, so about Regenerosity's work, we work in East Africa, India, and Amazon. We have a projects that focuses on whole system permaculture, seed sovereignty, conservation and restoration, climate change, water restoration. We work with communities to create change at a larger level, in an impactful level, where we enable communities to participate and sustain it for a longer time through our project partners. Leaders we support are women and girls, indigenous community. We focus a lot on partners working with indigenous community, youth, refugees, people with disabilities, smallholder farmers. And nutrition and health, livelihood, climate stability, ecological resilience are the cascading benefits and effects of the programs we work on a ground level with our partners.
Yeah, we have projects in East Africa that are focusing on improving livelihoods for the communities. USAID Uganda is a program that is working in refugee camps that is empowering refugees through trainings to regenerative agriculture and livelihoods. We also have Gardens for Health International, Rwanda, which is a project that is focusing on antenatal mothers or couples that are focusing to bring a healthy child into this world. And they have starter kits that they give to these young families, kits that include chickens for rearing, includes piglets, and also seeds for planting. It's a very wonderful project that is focusing on nutrition and empowering the community to grow healthy foods. Kafred Uganda is a project that is actually near a national park and that is improving livelihoods through transitioning farmers to regenerative agriculture and networking with coffee farmers to bring more to their land than just one crop, which is coffee. So it is really, these projects are really improving livelihoods on the local front, and they are empowering communities to have more than just one crop. Rwanda is a project also working in refugee camps in Uganda, and they are also transitioning farmers through permaculture and through music and song that embrace regenerative agriculture and permaculture. Kajulu Hills is a project in Kenya that actually is transitioning farmers in the hills of Kajulu in Kisumu area, that is transitioning farmers to regenerative agriculture and permaculture. These are projects that have really empowered local communities and schools to embrace agriculture in a more resilient way. And next.
So talking about projects we have in India, we have Navdanya International. Navdanya, as most of us know, promotes regenerative agriculture, traditional learnings, and indigenous seeds. So we work with Navdanya in the ranges of Maharashtra, in the belt where their farmer suicide rate is very high. And the goal is to enable distributors of engineered seeds and 25+ regenerative farmers. Where do we, with the help of the partner Navdanya, they are building the capacity of the farmers on ground and making them leaders of their own capacity, and their training manuals and videos is one of the trainer-led module is something, and spreading the practices is something we focus on with this partner. Forever focuses on soil regeneration and create food forest demonstration sites within the neighboring villages in the areas they work. Also establishing biodiversity through intensive planting. With the help of while supporting Taran Bhagat Sangh, it's mostly the project is in the Rajasthan, where they promote water management, ecological restoration, agricultural capacity, where with the help of technology, they are training farmers in water conservation, implementing rainwater harvesting and efficient models of irrigation, so that their livelihood can be improved and cultivation and yields can be increased. Timbuktu Collective, ecological village, we focus mostly focusing on regeneration, also creating one of the most important element they bring into the table, this partner Timbuktu Collective, is how do they most of the trainers are the youth who take the practices of establishing biodiversity in the whole community.
In the Amazon, we have two amazing projects. One that we partner with IACOM from Ecuador, and the other one from Instituto Piagaso in Brazil. Both of them are working with agroecology, agroforestry, and also to reforestate the Amazon forest with native trees from each of the regions. And both of them have like entrepreneurial aspect. So the idea here is that they also achieve a new kind of livelihoods that can take people out of illegal mining, illegal lodging, and illegal kettling, so that they don't destroy the region that they are located. By using this project, what we are doing is generating a new income for these families, because they will work with new kind of native species other than the ones that are already being planted as monoculture, and then are transitioning to permaculture so they can plant more native trees and not only become like supplier for raw mats, but also to create their own fresh handmade products fresh from the Amazon. And they are currently looking for further funding so that they can amplify their projects to design ecosystem carbon credits that goes specifically to all at the Amazon that could be replicated to other projects as well, and also to grow their entrepreneurial aspect for women-led companies that would be producing, you know, cosmetic, food, and beverage from the Amazon.
So our goal is, over the next 2 years, to resource over 40 critical projects to improve health and livelihoods for tens of thousands of farmers, to improve their livelihoods and protect critical ecosystems while sequestering carbon. And that's on behalf of all of the projects that we're working with. And we're working to amplify the research, education, and the stories of these farmers that we're working with, and increase understanding within the movement, and share impactful stories from the field and from the ground. And so that will work to change paradigms of how we are in service to life, and how we build together and grow the movement. So as we said before, our current focus is in East Africa, India, and the Amazon. We have beautiful funding partners that we currently work with, but would love to learn more about you and work with you. So if you're interested in working with us, Anna can share how to get in touch.
And we would love you all to be in touch with us. So please visit our website, regenerosity.world, where you can find a lot of stories. We have a blog there that we share the stories from our projects. You can also fill out the forms so we can get to know a little bit more about you, and then you can just stay in touch with us and also engage with us within our LinkedIn account in LinkedIn/company/Regenerosity. So you can learn more about what we are doing, share our posts, and just engage with us and let us know a little bit more about you and how you're seeing the regeneration of the world as well.
So here is part of our team from Regenerosity. We'd love to for you to get in touch with us, or for us to have conversations with you. We host monthly partner events, and would love for you to join us for one of those, or for one of the webinars that we host. I have just put in the chat our webinar page for YouTube, and please do continue to stay in touch. And we're really excited to talk more about Regenerosity. Thank you.